Hi, my name is Kevin Lee, reporting for BeYourArt.com, and today I'm sitting down with Pedro Sousa, the proprietor of Gallery 4, Triple Deuce. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you run this establishment, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Gallery 4 Triple Deuce was established back in April of 2003, and we started as a collective. It was a group of us that graduated from Stony Brook University together, and we were looking for a space, common space that we can share and exhibit and bounce ideas off each other. And I was working for a photographer who was in the space, and he moved out, and we took a chance. And like I said, we opened the doors or signed a lease in April 2003 and opened up in August 2003.
And seeing as it is May 2009, looks like things have worked out so far.
Yeah, so far so good. We've had a good run. We've had some great shows, probably over 40 shows in our history. We've had over 100 artists from all around the country actually exhibit their work in here, and it's been a great learning experience for everybody. We've gotten great reviews from local papers and local people, and you know they just love the fact that there's a real art gallery out in the island.
Excellent. Now, there's a lot of young artists out there who are just getting their start, and you were in that position not long ago. So what advice would you have for someone who is, say, fresh out of school and is just looking to get their feet on the ground? They've got a little bit of a portfolio built up, but they're just not quite sure what to do with themselves.
Well, the first thing to do, is exactly that, is a portfolio and getting a resume together and getting all that information together. As gallery director, it's important for me to see where these artists are coming from, what kind of history they have, whether they have history of art and what they're doing, because it's so important to see what's out there. That you kind of have to be on top of things a little bit. And in the beginning, it's tough because you're fresh out of college. You're not sure what's going on. You've been surrounded by your peers of people that have been working alongside you for the past 3 or 4 years, and but it's a school environment. So getting out, it's a different world, because now all of a sudden you're not working on projects and assignments anymore. You're working for yourself. And what does that mean? Working for yourself. Whether you're a painter or a sculptor, you're producing artwork for a reason, and that reason most of the times is trying to get into a gallery and exhibit and have your work shown. And in doing so, it's not as easy as just making a painting and showing up at somewhere and dropping it off. There's a lot involved. So first step, is, like I said, your resume is important, and then your portfolio. And presentation counts for a lot. You come in with images on a CD, or you come in with images on a phone, and you want to show somebody something. It's not going to be the best, presentation. When you come in, all right. So you want to approach a gallery.
Right.
What do? You put your portfolio together. And so, what does your portfolio consist of? Fresh out of school, what do you have? You have projects, you have assignments, you have maybe your thesis show that you've been working towards. And what you've been doing, hopefully in your last year of college, is preparing yourself for the real world. And when producing work, a lot of times artists will work on a body of work and work through themes, or work through their styles, or work through a specific idea that they have. And they produce a body of work, and the body of work can be anything from 2 pieces, 3 pieces, to 20 to 30 pieces. But what's important is to see a consistency throughout the work and seeing kind of an evolution. So it's important when the first thing is to have a consistent body of work within your portfolio.
Right.
You don't want to show most kids out of school have taken photography, have taken sculpture, have taken ceramics and stuff, but they've only concentrated on usually one area.
Right.
And what you want to do is, you don't necessarily want to show your overall, overall what you can do, but you want to be more crucial about what you're looking to do, and kind of define yourself in the style or in the medium. So it's important, again, to have that consistency, and it doesn't necessarily have to be consistency in the medium. It could be consistency in the theme. So again, having that body of work that shows a progression or an idea is, it's a good way to start in having a body of work.
Right. All right. Now, with the starting off, I mean, if you're the young artist, you've got your body of work that you've built up. You've got your portfolio here, but let's face it, immediately you're not going to walk into the first gallery and they're going to say, "Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal! You're a genius. Here, let me pay you all this amazing sums of money and just exhibit you for the rest of your life." So how would you recommend they, I guess, finance themselves?
Well, financing yourself is tough because the idea of a starving artist is a real idea, and it's a reality for a lot of people.
Right.
And kind of if you take the idea of like an actor who is who's a waiter and trying to waiting to get that one shot and breaking through into the industry, art is very similar to that. But what I found even for myself as a photographer is that if I am working within my medium of photography, it still allows me to be creative. And I think that as an artist, if you can find a way to still be creative and find work that's going to help pay bills and feed yourself and pay rent and put a roof over your head and pay for your materials, it's important because the one thing about being in school, you have all these things at hand, all these facilities, all these tools and these teachers, and once you're out of school, you're on your own. And you have to find the drive to keep pushing yourself, because even you walk into a gallery and that gallery owner might love your work, but the reality of it, he's not going to be ready to show your work for 6 months. Okay, so for me, I book 6 months up to a year in advance.
Wow.
So for people to come in, it's great, and I love looking at work, but they also got to realize it's a business. I do have to book in advance, and I can't wait till last minute.
Right.
So going to one place and that's it and waiting to hear back is not the way to do it.
Right. So shop yourself around a bit.
Exactly. The more you're out there, the more people are, the more chances you're going to have at finding a place that's going to, fit your work. And the other thing is making sure that you're going to the appropriate gallery. Don't just look up, galleries and then automatically assume that if you're a photographer who does fine artwork, that you can walk into a gallery who does abstract work, and they're going to be they're going to be happy with your work. If they're predominantly only showing paintings and you're a photographer, maybe that's not the right gallery for you.
Right.
So being aware of the galleries, of what they're showing and what they're representing is really is very important. Also, that you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting the gallery's time.
Yeah.
Because for you to walk in there, make an appointment, and then walk in with a portfolio of work that doesn't coincide with what's in the gallery, kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
You got to know your market, and that's part of it, and that's a big part of being an artist nowadays, is knowing your market and marketing yourself.